have a customer.
Oh, goody. There's a little buck bass.
Come here, you. Got you awkwardly. Here we go.
He's a little football.
Yeah, he's a little football.
He's eating though.
You got a little belly on him.
He's got a little belly.
Thank you, guy. Hey folks, Glenn May here with BassResource.com, and today I want to talk to you about finding fish quick and getting on them so you can catch more fish during your day on the water. It really boils down to two pieces. One is your at-home research, and the other piece is on the water observations and adapting while you're on the water. So let's get into it. The first half is at-home research, and that actually breaks down to three different pieces. One of them is your historical information and researching historical information. The second one is map study. And the third one is your current conditions, researching your current conditions as it pertains to your day of fishing. So let's start with the first one, which is your historical information. Understand, this is not fishing history. There's kind of a negative connotation to the word history now in bass fishing. Fishing history pertains to, let's say you've done really well in a particular cove or a stretch of water on a particular lake, and last year you caught a bunch of them on spinnerbaits and it worked really well for you during this time of the year. Fishing history means you try to go back to that area and try to replicate it. You're going to go back with the spinnerbaits and you can try to do the same thing and see if you can't get the same results. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is getting historical information. You look up lake reports, you look up tournament reports, anything you can find over the past several years. Go back 5 years, 10 years, as much time as you have in your hand, but the more years you go back, the better, because what you're looking for are some commonalities and some trends. Things like, for example, during this time of the year, you find that in tournament reports that quite often jigs and spinnerbaits tend to show up more often in all these, who wins and what baits they're using. So maybe that ought to be a couple of baits you might want to have tied on to begin with. Just an idea. Or maybe it's top waters. Something that keeps showing up over and over again throughout the years as being productive on this lake during this time of year, or river, whatever it is you're fishing. Another commonality might be where they are. Not so much where they are in the lake per se, but what kind of cover are they on? What kind of structure are they holding on? Say, for example, this time of year, you find them a lot in the outside weed edges, or maybe you find them on docks, or maybe they're holding on main lake points. Something to consider when you see this keep coming up over and over in lake reports and tournament results, that these fish keep getting caught in this particular type of structure or cover. Keep that in mind. It's like, hey, this might be something worth checking out, see if that is applicable to this time of year. So that's the kind of research that I'm talking about. You're looking for these kind of trends. You're also looking for, say for example, if there's a weather change or how do the fish react to changing patterns. Say for example that just before a big front comes through on this particular lake, the topwater bite just blows up, man. It just takes off. Okay, put that in your back of your mind. Just in case a front's going to come through during your day of fishing or maybe the next day, maybe topwater bites might be something to consider. So just look for those type of, you see the same thing being repeated over and over for this time of year and this time of the lake. That's the kind of thing you want to pick apart.
There we go. It came out and got it that time.
Nice.
Got him that time, little sucker. I saw him. He come darting out from that bush and said, "Hey, I want to play with the Senko." I should say stick bait. It's a V&M, I believe. Hey, he's a cute little guy. Come hither. Come hither. I saw you. You darted right out from that bush and said, "I'll eat that." And that's what you did. You ate that. All right, little guy, go play. Have fun.
Now, the next piece is map study. Take what you've learned and now look at your map and start categorizing things. So for example, you want to look at main lake points, secondary points. I like to categorize these things by not only main and secondary points, but also how steep they are. If take all the steep points, for example, put those in a category versus the ones that have a long tapering points. Also, I like to look at which ones are more of a north-south facing orientation versus an east-west orientation. This is going to come into play later on when you're on the water. We'll get to that in a second. But you want to look at the humps. You want to look at steep shorelines versus flats. Just get a general idea of where those areas are, especially if it says, you know, in those lake reports that, hey, a lot of fish are being caught off humps this time of year. Just as an example, take a look at that. The main thing you want to do is not only get an idea of where they're located as related to, say, somewhere back in coves, somewhere in shallow areas versus deep areas, some are bigger humps than smaller humps, but you also want to look at the areas surrounding those humps. Where might those fish be if they're not on those humps? Or if they're not on those points? Or if they're not on those docks? Where might those fish go? Get an idea of that, sense of the surrounding areas. Armed with that map information and with the historical information you just did, the next piece is looking at your information for current conditions. Obviously, that starts off with weather. You're going to look at what's been happening over the past 20 days or so. And look for the general trends, not the major fronts and stuff that's come through, but is it on a general warming pattern, or is it a generally going in a cooling pattern, or have things been relatively stable? And then look at like the couple days preceding the day you're going to go fishing, and maybe on the day you're going to go fishing. Are conditions going to change? Is the weather going to do a dramatic warm up or cool down? Is there going to be a front coming through? Things like that, keep in your mind of like how that's going to play out and how that might affect the fish and position them, and may even affect their disposition during your day of fishing. One of the things I like to do at this point is I like to open up an app called Bass Forecast. That app is pretty cool. It looks at exactly what I just told you. It looks at the trends, but it also looks at solar times specific for your area, specifically for your lake. Some of you guys, you know, don't put a lot behind solar times, and part of that is because in the past they've all been printed by, you know, time zone, and that could be off as much as 45 minutes, maybe an hour to the location that you are specifically at. So they don't always jive with where you're fishing. So I can understand that, hey, maybe you know put too much credence behind it. This app puts it GPS specific, so it is absolutely telling you what the solar times are going to be right for where you are fishing when you're fishing it. But also, it takes into consideration other factors. For example, seasonality, what kind of cover might be available. It'll show you like what the fish might be holding on as far as structure, what kind of cover they're going to be using, what kind of lures you should be using for those different types of cover. Also, what kind of speeds maybe, you know, your retrieve speeds. I mean, it gives you a bunch of information that helps, you know, as part of your overall research to put that in your data bank and use that when you're out on the water. Nothing's foolproof, so I'm not saying that this app is the end-all be-all. It's going to tell you exactly what to do all the time, or that it's 100% accurate. But just like all these other factors that you're taking into consideration, this is another source of information to look into that can help you. I know for me personally, I've gone through all my research, and then I look at the app, and it might suggest a couple other things, a couple different areas to fish, or a couple different lures to try that I hadn't considered yet. So, you know, worth putting it into your arsenal of information.
There's a bass. Hold on. There he is. Just that fast. He saw it and he ate it. He's a little guy. He's not very big at all. There you go. All right, I'll let you go if I can get the hook out, because I'm hook challenged today.
It's a decent fish.
Yeah. He's been spawned out though.
Oh yeah, he is.
That's why he's probably so hungry. Hey, look at that. All righty,
job.
thank you, little guy.
Now, once you've got all that together, your next piece is on the water. on the water adaptation. So the first thing you want to do is break out your search baits. So these are things like a Carolina rig, split shot rig, your crankbaits, spinner baits, jigs, those type of things. And you want to start in the area where you think is going to be really good based upon your research. Start there and now start to incorporate your powers of observation. For example, above the water, look at the topography of the lake and what type of vegetation is on it. And imagine that going underneath the water. If you're on a reservoir that fluctuates with different levels, it's possible that if there's a bunch of bushes on the shoreline, then maybe there's some submerged bushes under the water. Or if it's a real rocky shoreline, it's probably going to be rocky underneath the water. Start to get that idea, plus look at your cloud cover, your light penetration conditions, how much wind you have. Look at the water clarity. Did you have a lot of rain prior to your day of fishing and maybe the water's clouded up or muddy? Or maybe it's a lot clearer than normal. Has it changed in any way, or is it different from what it normally is? Look at vegetation. Is it emergent or submergent? What kind of vegetation is there? How thick is it? Are there weed lines? And what depth are the weed lines? Use your powers of observation to kind of put together, these are the things that aren't on the maps, these are the things that aren't going to show up in your at-home research that you can add on top of all the information you've already gathered when you're at home. Combine that with your underwater eyes, your sonar. If you're going over humps, points, any underwater structure that you've marked on your map, now you want to look for things that don't show up on that map. For example, are there stumps on it? Maybe some big boulders or a rock pile. Maybe there's an anomaly where it goes down and maybe it bumps up all of a sudden and then starts going down. Maybe there's some sunken logs or debris or something like that. Maybe there's a patch of weeds on one part of the structure versus the other. These are the things you want to take into consideration while you're fishing it. Now, when you catch a fish, this is when it all starts to come together.
We have a customer.
Another one.
There we go.
It must be the jig strike today.
Hello.
It's got to be the jig strike today.
He is mad.
Ooh, he's mad. He's mad.
All right, give me your face. Thank you. Not bad. I can take these all day long.
All day long.
Especially in the summer when you're catching little dinks. This is fun. All right. There you go, buddy. Yeehaw.
Hopefully you're paying attention because that fish is talking to you. He's telling you a lot of information. How he was positioned on that structure, where he was positioned on that structure, what made him strike, what lure you were using, what was the speed of retrieve you were using. Was he on the shady side? Was he on the sunny side of the structure? Was he on the windy side or the leeward side? Was he buried in weeds? Was he on the weed edge? Was he on a rock? So on and so forth. Now, based upon your at-home research, this is where I take things and I look at them in position to north, south, and east, west, is because now when you start catching fish, oh, hey, I caught them on the shady side of deep points on the weed edge. Well, that's kind of a north-south facing point. Now I know where the rest of those are on the lake, and I can go just fish those. And now I've taken a 30,000, 40,000 acre lake with 17 points, and I've narrowed it down to 6 points, and specifically a specific area on those points. Right? That's how you use all this information to narrow down where these fish are and how to catch them. And that's going to make you a lot more productive on the water, a lot more efficient, and you're going to catch a lot more fish that way. I hope those tips help. For more tips and tricks like this, visit bassresource.com.